Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, two blondes and a brunette. Look at that.
Lena's like an in-between.
It changes colors. I'm a chameleon.
She's a half-bred. Half-breed. There we go. What's up? I feel like I haven't seen either of you in quite some time. We got Liz and Lena. Since I think all of you guys have been away. Mm-hmm. Peter and I finally got Petunia open. Woo-hoo. She was finally born.
Round of applause.
Round of applause. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was luckily like Lena has been here with both Peter and I through borderline every step of the way, from getting it ready, going over the menu and everything. And if God, I've said it a million times, like if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have made it through this, because having the support, mental support and like the actual physical support. So I think like realistically, I would not have been able to do this without like the mental and physical support of being here and like helping me out with everything.
Oof. I think I aged 35 years.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she found me in like fetal position 3 times behind the server station. Like,
so how many servers were on?
just 2.
Us.
So
Okay,
we're
2,
20
okay.
seats total, 7 tables total.
Okay.
I didn't want to, like, as far as staffing goes, I didn't want to have just one server and a busser and like food runner, simply because I feel like at the end of the day, between the hourly rate and then the tip out, they would pretty much be breaking even with a server. Like, had we tipped them out 4% and paid them like $10 an hour. And for me, I think it's more important to have 2 servers who can pull the extra weight of bussing tables, of running food and anything in between, to where we know how to make connections with tables. We know, like, we can sit there both and make connections and take our time with everything and tag team everything and equally split tips at the end of the night. Because it's so small, I kind of like that. Like, I think that just creates a better energy between the team in general. And I love that we're so small, because then it is a tight knit team, you know, like it is very intimate from an experience as far as coming and sitting down to eat. Like, as someone who's dining with us, you know, there's 2 people that you get to talk to throughout the night. It's not like, this is my table, this is your table.
I like that.
No competitiveness.
There's no competitiveness. There's no, this is my section, this is your section. You know, night 1, it wasn't even like a nightmare. It was just nerve wracking.
Yeah.
And there was so many kinks, obviously, you know, between more so I'd say the kitchen, because front of house, I mean, it's smooth. We've served 1,010 tables. We have studied the menu, but even for me knowing the menu, I feel like I was like
brain farting.
Yeah, I was like choking on my words.
And you tried everything too? So you knew everything?
No, I still haven't even fully tried everything. Like, I've had little bits of pieces and things.
Of like unfinished parts too. Like you've had the process, but you haven't had the finished product.
Exactly. Like, we would taste like the base, a tomato base for the amatriciana, you know, but I haven't had the amatriciana yet. It's been difficult, but I know what these things are supposed to taste like. So like I can still describe them to tables. And what I have had, I've been pushing. Like, I had the salmon rigatoni. So that was the number 1
So
selling.
pretty. It's so pretty.
And it's a pretty dish. It was just a whirlwind. And then I thought, going into day 2, I was going to be like, oh my God, here we go again, you know? And I was stressing, but I woke up the next morning with it can't get any worse.
Right.
It literally can't get any worse. And not even that it was that bad. And we even had people ask, like, you know, behind the scenes, what's going on that we can't see? Because for opening weekend, this is not flawless, but like it's really smooth. Yeah. And like we can't find any flaws in what you guys are doing. And we did get great feedback from some people. Obviously, first weekend, you know, I think everybody gave us grace, because most people gave us grace because they know, you know, like it's our first friggin' weekend open. We got to learn the layout. And then Yanni had brought up, because then on Sunday, Lena and I worked the first 2 days. And then on Sunday, we had 2 new servers. And, you know, I'm in back making pasta. I've literally, my wrist, I'm going to have carpal tunnel syndrome by the end of this experience. Yanni was like, I don't know. I just feel like I prefer you up front, you know, because like you and Lena, like the energy's so different compared to these 2 new servers. I'm like, Yanni, Lena and I have gone over this menu 30,000 times. Like, if we updated something, I sent it to her. If we did something different, if I did something different to the server station, I sent her a picture. You know, like, she's been my right hand. I tell everyone if I'm not here, look to her or Peter. And with these 2 new servers, I'm like, you have to give them grace because this is still new for all of us, you know?
Yes.
And as an owner, not only can I not be in the front at all times, but I don't want to be.
Right.
Like, I don't want to live. I want to live here. I want to be here. I'm going to be here, but I don't want to be the owner, be the server, be the prep, be the this. Like, I want to be in the kitchen so I can learn how to put these dishes together with Peter. God forbid he gets sick. You know?
Right, yeah.
And I think that just like the overall experience as far as like staff goes, because he's like, I don't know, I prefer you to be in the front. Like the energy was just so different with you and Lena. I'm like, yeah, because we created this.
We also know each other inside and out. You could breathe in the wrong direction and I'm like, okay, I need to go over there. Like I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been tricky navigating. Like, have you ever worked for someone that was like your really good friend? Like they were your boss?
No. No.
Like I'm trying to navigate like the people that I'm bringing in that I've had relationships with. And I think we had an episode about this, like hiring friends and family.
Right.
For me, I'm like, okay, obviously I'm taking everybody I can get right now. But when it's me and Lena and we're working together, it's one thing. But then Sunday night came around and like I had Katie Hess. Shout out to Katie Hess. Nothing but good things to say about you as opposed to George.
Right. Exactly.
Dickhead. And then someone who I consider like a sister, she lived with me for years. Her name's Katie Piazantine. So we had Katie and Katie on. Now as an owner, I'm like, the side dishes, they're still on the table. Like, why are they still on the table? Food's coming out. Like the lights aren't down enough. The music's not turned up enough. And I'm like, I don't want to be like, go do this. So I would go up to the table and like grab a empty appetizer plate and be like, hey, can you guys go and get the side plates, like show them that like I'm doing the work too.
Yes.
Because navigating this is just.
But also if I saw somebody like you in your position going to grab side plates or whatever, I'd be shitting myself.
But some people would recognize that, right? Okay, if they're doing it, then that means I didn't. But some people, it's like way over the head. They don't see it. They're completely oblivious to it.
Yeah, you're completely
right. But I like the technique because that's exactly what I would do. I would say, I just grabbed this from the table, whatever. Can you just grab that from the other table? Because you got to set the example.
Exactly. And I don't want to be that person that just walks up front and clearly like I'm floating tonight. You know, like I'm helping with prep. I'm helping in the kitchen. I'm in there washing dishes like all night and coming in the front to check on everybody. So I feel like for me, I'm over here like floating around. But if I have like a lull moment, I don't want them to just, or like me to walk up and be like, hey, go clear those over. Like when I could set an example like, hey, you know, they have, their plates are building up over there and their entrees are being worked on.
Right.
Do you guys mind going and picking that up?
If you like the style, how the two, like, it seems like you guys have a certain synergy when you work together, right? So you have a certain way of doing things and that's something that you like, then perhaps going for when you schedule people, you do it where you're on a shift with one person.
Yes.
You know, say, then you have that culture. Then it's like instilled in them from the very beginning.
Yes.
Agreed.
Because like I know like if Lena beats me here, she's already halfway through the checklist getting things done. And like I'm over here kneading and rolling out pasta. And like people are coming in like, hey, so how was the first day? And I'm like, did you see the checklist of the opening stuff? Like, can you look at that before you come in and talk to me? Because I'm also like trying to pump out pasta as fast as I can. And I'm like not trying to socialize. And again, it's just hard navigating it because it's like, I love you. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Opening weekend was great, but also we open in 30 minutes and this is still day 3. And I guess just trying to navigate, like I thought Nico was a great boss. Like I saw him in every aspect of vintage, like no matter where we needed help, he was there helping. And I think that he even set the example for me of how I want to run my restaurant because there was no job too dirty that he was like, no, I'm not touching that, you know? And I want to be like that. And I just am like that in general. I had the morning to myself the other morning. And I didn't come in by morning. I mean, like I came in by 11:30 noon, even just sitting at home. I was like, I can't just sit here knowing that Peter's over there doing prep and there's things that need to be done. So I'm answering all my emails and I'm doing stuff. And I'm like, I just know that I'm going to live here. And as far as like friends and family goes, it's great to depend on them. I think I would be more comfortable with new people just to be like, I don't know, not feel like their boss, you know, because the one girl, Katie, she lived with me from like 7th grade to like my sophomore year of high school. And like, it's one of those things where you ask her like, you know, could you ever picture yourself literally working for me in a restaurant? Like, no way. That girl beat me over the head with an Ugg boot.
Interesting. See, I have no problem bossing people around. I know. I don't care who you are. When I was 18 or 19, this is years ago when they're renovating Red Lobsters where I lived. And I decided I was going to have my own cleaning company. So I put all these flyers everywhere. There's like pre-internet, okay? So I got this gig. They're renovating. It was an outside construction company. They hired me to clean up. So because it was an ongoing renovation, they'd do it every morning, early morning before they opened, everything had to be cleaned. So you couldn't clean everything, but all the dust everywhere, the sawdust had to be cleaned off. That was the important thing out of everything. And you couldn't really get to the nook and crannies. And it was going to get dusty the next day anyway.
Yeah.
So you had to prioritize. So I hired my brother, I hired his girlfriend, I hired my dad. My dad is a former command sergeant major in the Army, okay? So he rolls up and he's very OCD. And because we had time constraints, we had to get it done in a certain amount of time, he was just going off, being extremely meticulous to the point where we weren't going to finish.
Yeah.
And me, not big, not that old, had to go up to him and say, you are being insubordinate.
You're the problem.
Yes. I said, we're not going to get this done because you're going too much into detail. I go, there's only so much we can do. We have to get these things done. You need to stop worrying about that. He's like, yeah, but it's dusty. And I go, I understand that, Dad. But we're not going to get everything done. And we would fight over it. And I remember like years later, we were talking about it. He said, I would never work for you ever again. I said, well, I would never hire you because you're insubordinate.
Yes.
And being that you're in the military, I felt like you should have fallen in line a lot easier. Just saying. I'm tough.
So like that's my fear. I think like just this whole week has been so overwhelming. And like the 2 weeks leading up to this, like knowing right when it was like, okay, we open next Friday, it's been nonstop. Go here all day, every day. My poor freaking dogs. I called my dad. And my parents they're in Austin, Texas right now. And they've been wanting to move back to South Jersey. I called them. I said, I know your lease is up end of July, early August. You're going to move in with me. Yeah. I'm going to find you a place here. It's going to be easier to find you a place here if you're here. But in the meantime, I need you and Mom to pack your shit. I need you guys to move here. You're going to stay with us in our downstairs bedroom. Mm-hmm. You're going to do all the pasta prep. And Mom's going to be on the ice cream shop. And you guys are going to work for me until you find your own jobs. And until like all of this settles down.
Are they down?
My dad's like, well, give me the month to mull it over.
A month?
The month. And I'm like, okay, I just wanted to tell you early April because it's end of July that you got to be out. You have to pack your 12 years of life in Austin into a U-Haul and move here. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. 3 hours later, I'm in.
Nice.
I don't need the month. Screw your month. He's like, give me the month. 3 hours later, I'm in. And I'm like, all right, thank God. We haven't told my mom yet. So I'm curious to see if this episode comes out before she finds out. Because if it was up to her, she'd be packed and ready tomorrow. But like, it's funny because like I'm having this battle of, do I want friends and family and do I not? And I'm like, I think that right now I have a good enough relationship with everybody here that I could be like, and not to mention they respect me enough to know like, this is my place. This isn't like a random person they're working for. I didn't suggest them for a job. I'm hiring you at my restaurant.
Right.
And I think that everybody does have like a certain level of respect. And even Katie was just like, I love working here. I was like, no. You can't stay. I can't have you. Don't tease me. Like, do not tease me. George would kill me.
Yeah. As much as he talks shit about her.
As much as he talks shit about her, if he lost Kitty Hess,
he would have a connection.
He'd be in a ball.
He'd be in fetal position downstairs. He'd be in fetal
position downstairs crying. But yeah, it's just like I'm trying to navigate, like just thinking back on that episode, like navigating like the fine line of friends and family and hiring new people. And that being said, if anybody in the Cape May County area is looking for a cooking or serving job.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Restaurant Punk. Out.